Well, vlog number 10. Had an absolutely fantastic day. We're getting serious now. So, travelled today from Aswan to Luxor. It's about a 4-hour drive. There's two ways you can come. You can come along the desert highway, which makes it about a 3-hour drive, or you can take the old original road through the villages and that along the Nile, which makes it about a 4.5-hour drive. I'm just having a coffee while we're doing this. Because I've had a top day, so serve a coffee. So Hamdi wanted to do that purely just to show me, otherwise you're sitting on a highway through a desert with just sand either side of it. This way you go through the village. Yeah, it's slower, the road's rougher, but you get to see and experience the culture, you stop and get a drink and this sort of stuff. So anyway, so that was a plan today, to spend the day doing that. We would have two stops, first one being Com Ombo, an hour and a bit in, and then Edfu about 2 hours later, about an hour and a half later as well. So we set off this morning to Com Ombo. Once again, Com Ombo temple is right on the water, and there can be, and it's a big stop for the cruise boats cruising between Aswan, between Luxor and Aswan, or vice versa. Normally 10, 15 boats there. Those big Nile cruise boats. There's one there. Saw about 20 people there in the temple. Very quiet, very quiet. Had a lovely time there. Yeah, look through, it's peaceful. You get to enjoy a little bit more. You can take photos where other people aren't in them. You can take your time. You're not sort of rushed to keep moving. Spent a bit of time there. Just had a good walk around, had a good look. On the way out, it was really funny. There's kids there. It's a Saturday, so the kids aren't at school. So they tend to, I'd say, their parents work in the tourist resort thing, tourist attractions, and so they're there trying to sell you stuff for this, for $2. It's just plastic pictures and stuff like that. It's nothing of any value, and I don't buy it. There's nothing I want it for. Normally, if the kids are nice, I'll give them 10 Egyptian pounds each, which is about 30 cents. If there's a couple of them, they can just have it. I don't really care, and I don't take whatever they're selling anyway. So yeah, look, there's 3 girls. They were absolutely lovely, all about 8, 9-year-old. Anyway, I gave them the money. I told them they had to share it, and then one didn't want it, so I gave it to another one. Anyway, I said, look, they tried to give me something for it. I said, no, I wouldn't do it. When I got to the car, they come running out of the car. They'd picked a nice flower off a tree there and gave it to my driver and said they wanted to give it to me because I was nice to them. So that really made my day. That was fantastic. The kids here are just great. You don't see an iPhone. Very rarely see. I haven't seen any kids with iPhones. The odd teenager here and there, or someone in the early 20s probably, late teens. But no, the kids are just out there driving along the big channel beside the Nile today. They're all diving in, swimming and floating on tubes and all sorts of things. So doing what kids do best, just having a good old play. So then we pushed on. One thing I will say, all these temples, so I've been to Abu Simbel, Com Ombo, Edfu, and even, say, the obelisk in Aswan, the Philae temple as well. All these temples are pretty much wheelchair accessible to the temple, not necessarily in the temple, because they don't like to sort of, I suppose, rip the floor up or do stuff, leave it fairly just how it is. But there's always walkways, there's flat tile areas to get to it. The walking to the temples is very easy. It's all very modern, very new. The ticketing system's fine. Although Com Ombo, I had to wake the ticket bloke up because he's having a snooze. So that gives you an idea of how busy they are. The only thing is the ticket windows are very small. They're only like, this by this. So unless you sort of know exactly where they are, they just look like a bit of a mesh thing on a wall. It's not till you get up close that you see there's someone behind it. My bloke, he was sound asleep. I had to whistle out a few times and wake him up. So yeah, that's just a state of affairs, how bad it actually is. But look, is what it is, eh? So the facilities are fantastic. There's toilets at all of them. They're very clean. The toilets. They're wheelchair accessible. There's always like a cafeteria and open air that sells drinks and juices, and I think you can get other stuff. I always just get a drink or a juice and just sit there and have that when I finish, just to chill out for a bit and then head back to the car. Obviously there's gift shops and all that, which is most places. But yeah, very clean, very tidy. The amenities are very good. I think it's 10... They charge, it's 10 Egyptian pounds, about 30 cents to use the toilet. If I've got a 20 Egyptian pound, I'll just give them that, so don't worry about it. The toilets are very clean and the amenities are very modern at these temples. I don't know whether over the last few years there's been upgrades or what, but no, very nice indeed. So we then pushed on to Edfu. Wow, what a magnificent temple Edfu is. When we got there's probably 4 or 5, 6 of us maybe at the temple, the whole thing. What does happen is when you walk into these temples, people come up and want to guide you. Now there is a fee to that. I don't know what the fee is. What I would do is settle on the fee before you guide, and they'll take you through and guide you, and explain stuff. I don't really like that because they explain what they want to explain and they move you along. I like to sometimes hang in a spot for a while or walk to an area where, the guides don't take you sometimes. They take you to the fairly basic stuff. And these guides seem to all just hang out in the temples. And you can just say, no, if they come up, you just say, no, I'm right, don't need anything. And then they'll leave you alone. Very, very, there's no worries there at all. But if you want a guide, if you want a bit more explained, by all means, but I have no idea the price. I've never asked, but if it was me, I'd settle on a price before I start, because at the end, you're almost bound, you're going to hard to haggle if he says some ridiculous price, but because they are struggling for money. So even in Luxor here, it's like that. So yeah, Edfu is a fantastic temple, absolutely unbelievable. The hieroglyphics, the detail, and the fact that you can go up to them and touch them, there's nothing that says don't touch them. But, get as close as you want to them and look at there. You can sit on the columns at the base of them and have a bit of a breather inside. When you get into these temples, the temperature drops about 10 degrees because the way they're worked is it draws air in and up, and when the air going past the stone, it sort of cools it. So it's, obviously it's designed pre-air conditioning. So it's great, yeah, fantastic, Edfu. And having only half a dozen of us in there, it was so good I just sat in one of the rooms there for about 20 minutes on my own, just sat there, staring at the walls, just looking at all and trying to make sort of a sense of a story or, it's enjoyable to sit there and be able to do that without people sort of walking and standing in front of you or whatever. So yeah, people keep saying it's because of summer, but there's more to it than that. What else? Then we pushed on from Edfu, another good hour, 45, 50 minutes from there to Luxor, on the back roads. Went through where all the truck mechanical repairs, like a village that just has nothing else but trucks. Because there's a lot of big quarries up in the mountains here, and there's a massive big steel mill on the way in. So I don't know whether they cart ore or what they do to it, but I sort of didn't think there's ore here. But maybe there is, and what I did notice, a real funny thing I noticed is, at the start of most bigger villages, there's a brick section where there's a whole big pad with all different bricks stacked up on it. Well, all different, there's either red or there's white. Now white's a big solid brick that's always used in the first story, and the other one's like a red extruded type brick, which is used above that. And from what I can gather is, the brick company, whoever makes them, they bring them down, they store them all there. Then when you want some bricks to build your house, you go and see someone and you go and pick them up from there. It's like a storage yard in front of at the start of each major, like each big village, yeah, so very interesting that. Yeah, we got into Luxor. Luxor is beautiful. It's clean. The other cities, aren't that clean, but it's just how it is. You just accept that. Here, Luxor is very clean. It's a lot quieter. It's a big place, but it's quieter than Aswan. The roads are sort of wider. It seems that money's spent here because of the tour. Luxor's the place that everyone comes. Everyone never misses Luxor because of the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens. That's Tutankhamun's tomb, all that sort of thing. It's the big tourist spot. It's the Gold Coast of the sun. It's the surfers paradise of the East Coast type thing. It's the place where everyone comes to, and the cruise boats are normally 30, 40 cruise boats here and that sort of thing. I haven't seen any actually, but I might be in a spot where there aren't anyway. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. So tonight went down the pool, 6:30 something, still 40 degrees. Strange because I've been in this heat now for a while. It's not a burning heat like we get at home in Australia. Like it feels like it's about 32, 33, not even that. But it's not. It's hot, but it's not burning. I haven't put sunscreen on. I haven't got burnt. So it's not even a burning heat. It's just a heavy heat, if you know what I mean. Not a tropical heat, but a heavy heat. It's there, but it's not unbearable. At 43 the other day, and it really wasn't that unbearable. 43 at home, I reckon you'd drop dead. You'd be burned to a cinder. Had a swim in the pool. I'm in a 5-star hotel here. She's top of the shelf, for a couple of nights at about $80 a night, so with breakfast. So you can't beat that. In hindsight, I wish I'd have spent 2 nights in Aswan, not 3, and 3 nights here, not 2. But not knowing at the time, but that's just how it worked out. I could have worked it a bit better. I could have probably flown out of Cairo in the morning and got to Aswan and gone straight to Abu Simbel and back to Aswan that day, and that would have tied up then the next day, because the things to do in Aswan are the obelisk, Philae Temple and Nubi Museum. That's half a day. That's it. There's nothing else left to do. And then obviously the day trip to Abu Simbel. But anyway, not to worry, it's all good. I've actually got 3 days here because I've got tomorrow. Now I've got 2 full days here. So I arrived today. So tomorrow's Valley of the Kings. Everything on the West Bank side, Valley of the Queens, Hatshepsut Temple, Colossus of Memnon. So everything, Ramazan, everything. So tomorrow's a huge day, massive day. We're getting away early, 7:30. It'll be an all-day thing. Then tomorrow night I'm here again. The following day, I don't fly out till 9:45 at night, so I've got a full day, which is great, because I'll do the East Bank. The East Bank, we're going to get away early and drive for about an hour out of town to Dendera Temple. It's one that hardly anyone goes to, but I've had a few recommendations. It is really worth seeing if you have the time. Then come back to Karnak Temple, which is the big one. It's massive. It's, I think, the biggest temple in Egypt, which is just in town here. Then down to Luxor Temple, which is at the other end of the main street. Probably knock those over by a bit after lunch or something, like around lunchtime, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And that's sort of it. What I would probably plan to do then is take a felucca across to Banana Island and just walk around there for an hour or so and have a bit of a look at that, plus do the felucca ride and come back. And maybe in the evening grab a bit of dinner or have a look in the souk and then get dropped out at the airport about 6:30, something like that, to fly to Cairo. But anyway, that's in a couple of days' time. Tomorrow is the day. It's the big one of the trip. It's as big, if not bigger, than the Giza pyramids. It's the Valley of the Kings. King Tut. The lion will be, the Mittagong lions might make an appearance in King Tut's tomb. Who knows? Anyway, guys, keep watching. I'm enjoying it immensely. It's getting better and better. Catch us later.